On today's episode of the Command Center podcast, Fred and I have a bet.
I can't wait till you bend the knee.
I don't want to do that, man. We got a vibe check on the team. We talk about free agents. We talk about trades. We talk about the draft. The direction this team is going, man. We are stoked. And we got a rundown. We break down the NFC East. Where's everybody at and where do we fit? It all starts right now. Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss. And as always, we're presented by Cognier Technology. Secure today, shape tomorrow. And before we get into our wonderful show today, we got some housekeeping to take care of. So, I don't know if you guys haven't been paying attention. Fred and I have a bet. It's a draft bet, Fred.
Yeah.
And so basically on our other show, Ticket to the Draft podcast, make sure you check that out if you want all draft content. It's an hour a week of strictly draft stuff. Last year, we did something where we said, these are our surefire prospects, Tanner. So these guys are for sure going to hit. And in the bet, basically, I don't remember the exact wording, but one of us has to get down on a knee if we lose and say that you're the best draft analyst and I am terrible.
Because Fred's been saying for so long that he's the guru, right?
Yeah, I'm the draft guru. He is the
So my question is this going to be the first bet you win or have a chance to win? Because I feel like y'all bet 2 or 3 times a year. I don't know one of them that you won yet.
This might be the one right here.
I'm a little nervous. So I don't remember exactly who I picked, but I do remember picking 2 guys that were injured for most of the year.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the exact guys Fred picked, but I remember he picked some absolutely crazy people.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. Did you go back and listen to the show?
You know what? I haven't, but it seems to me that you're a little afraid.
Yeah.
Are you a little afraid?
I'm a little afraid. Because in terms of things in my life that I don't want to do, getting on a knee in front of you and saying you're the best is something I don't want to do.
Because he's going to talk about it every day.
I know.
The sun going to shine down.
I know.
Oh.
Just because you are so confident already.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Because he lie and tell everybody you did it, even if you didn't do it. You know, so it has to be recorded because he would tell everybody a story about what you did.
So I'm glad you said that, Tanner. So in order to make it for posterity, for the record, we're gonna air the bet being executed on the Command Center show.
On my birthday.
It'll be on TV on your birthday.
This is so crazy.
Yeah.
You're going to do it on my birthday.
I mean, I didn't. That's something Jason decided.
I know Jason
And I
tried
think
to do it.
Maddie, you should probably get
understand.
mad at Maddie, producer Maddie. Caroline might have been in on that decision. I don't know.
Well, I hate to say, if you rewind the tape 5 years ago, before we started really working together, I called it out on a draft special that Deebo Samuels would be my second-round pick. He turned out to be a star. Now he's in Washington.
Okay. Let me just say this. You can pick one person that you were right on every year. Tanner, you can do that.
No.
I can cherry pick,
that
right?
particular draft, I think I went 10 for 10.
No
Lord
way you were
have
10
I
for
went
10.
10. I went tension for tension.
I told you he lied about something. There you go.
I went 10 for 10. Sometimes, like, he got to think about us that makes us different. You're more analytical. You want numbers. You want this. Me, I need to set my eyes on them. I'm a field guy. I need to be around this guy. I want to know, do they love football?
I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to say one name. Tanner.
Give it to us.
Emmanuel Forbes. I was not as high.
He was mishandled.
I was not as high on him.
No. He was mishandled by a coaching staff that did not.
That's all I remember.
He was mishandled. Can we say that?
Okay, so this is what I'll say. Like anybody, I can go through any draft analyst and be like, what about so-and-so? What about this? Like, this is the draft. This is why it's hard. And so this is not a criticism of you.
I apologize.
I'm just pointing out that you said you
Emmanuel Forbes because it was a personal connection.
Well,
there.
the jury still is out. I mean, he didn't play well here. He's elsewhere now. Hopefully he have turn out to have a great career.
Yeah, we just had so much in common.
Yeah.
I was pulling for him.
Yeah, from
Dude,
the
skinny
school.
DB from Mississippi State.
We're all pulling for him.
Yeah, I was pulling for him.
And the talent on the film was there, and you weren't the only one who felt that way, right? So I think that's the thing. It's like when you say you went, the thing that I have umbrage with is the fact you said you went 10 for 10 because there's no chance you went 10 for 10.
I did. I went 100%. 100.
Bare lips.
He can't help it. He cannot help himself.
That's why you got to fact check him all the time. Now you see why y'all always fact check him.
Y'all fact check me like every time I say something. Like every time I say something.
this dude,
Even
man.
in the office, every time I say something, they fact checking everything that I say.
Well,
I told him the other day that a chainsaw was designed for not cutting trees for C-sections. Did you not know that?
no way that's true.
It's true.
No, Caroline. Oh, so
No,
mercy.
Kayla K will tell you it's true.
Kayla Key is her name. But
I
that's
said
okay.
K. I don't even say Key. Her name starts with a K. All right? At the end of the day, you can do your research. Chainsaws were designed for C-section.
Heard it from his mouth.
Yeah. His mouth to your
We'll
ears.
see.
So we got intern Caroline. She's gonna. Are you still an intern, Caroline? What are you?
No, I'm a producer now.
Producer.
Also, Fred, literally the first thing that pops up, no. Chainsaws were not originally invented for C-section.
Yeah, they were. They were.
But rather a medical tool to aid in childbirth, specifically to assist.
C-sections.
Dog.
No, but it says specifically the literal first sentence, no.
No.
Well, he was close. I'll give him a bit of
She's
that.
Googling the wrong thing.
So the crazy thing about it, he almost is always close. Even if he's not right.
Yeah, that's right.
He's almost always close.
He's
So
in the
Yes.
ballpark, right?
So true.
He's always in the ballpark. So hey, so basically, let's make sure we check out that show. Bet executed. I'm nervous. Fred's
Yeah.
excited. He thinks he's got this in the bag.
Yeah, I can't wait.
But basically, it's like the person that gets to be the draft expert for the
Yeah.
next year.
At least called the draft expert.
I'm afraid that if I had to get down on the knee, my back might give out.
I think about that. I was at Philco the other day, and I looked across. I thought Fred was laying right there, right on the ground.
Hey, the way his luck is, he's probably gonna give
And
out.
guess what? I'm happy that day happened because that day showed me mortality, that I have crossed the threshold, and it also said start back working out.
Yeah.
That's what it. If it had done anything to me,
Hot yoga, you better do something.
But Tana, he has been telling us.
He gonna work out.
He's like, I've been working out for 2 years now.
No, he work out now.
I got to start working out.
Bumping his gums every day. That's his workout.
it's nothing more humbling than listening to cars and trucks drive past you while you lay on the ground in front of a gas station because your back done went out.
And I guarantee you, while you was on your back, you were reaching for your pocket, seeing if you had a square somewhere. Oh, do I got my light on me anywhere? You ain't trying to get up.
Just laying on the ground, ripping a dart.
He want to put a Marlboro to his lips.
Hey, you know what really humbled me? When somebody drove past there and blew their horn. I was like, you ain't gonna help?
Dude, it's wild. It's wild to
down.
me that no one came over and helped. It's just like no one even was like, "Hey, man, you all right?"
That's what happened in the richest kind of America. The people got no love. Like, no love. And this is not like I was laying there for a minute. Yeah. I was legitimately down for 7 to 10
You
minutes.
should have called me, man. I would have come by and helped you out.
I called my kids, come help me.
That's what they said.
No, you got it, Pop.
All right, yeah. So we'll watch the show. If Fred's
Yeah.
back goes out, that'd be great to see. If you know, I don't know if I'm going to say it to you. I don't know if I can say
No,
it to you.
that's the deal.
I know it is. I don't want to say it though. I really
listen.
don't want to say it.
Hey, listen, man, a lot of people don't like to say true things to people, man. The truth
It's
is
true.
the guru versus the nerd.
I can't. I don't want to do it. But we're going to do it. We're going to check it out. Here, we check it out. All right. So now it's time to get to the show after
Let's
that
get it.
lovely housekeeping section. Now it's the vibe check, right?
Yep.
So vibe check, we're just kind of talking state of the union, where the team's at, after all the trades, what's going on, and then kind of looking forward to the draft a little bit, all right? So the first thing, and I think it's very exciting, is we don't need to worry about quarterback.
Oh,
Yes.
for a long time.
Yes.
They just thank God.
Yeah.
Because we have been on this roller coaster. All right? Think about all the quarterbacks I've
Just
had.
giving a sermon
I
right
started off with
want
Jeff
them- let 'em
George
preach.
as a quarterback my rookie year. It ended up being Tony Banks by the
Who
end.
was the guy that hit his head on the wall
Oh,
after he
my
scored?
God.
I remember that. He was here before I
Oh,
got here.
yes, you talking about not he
You wasn't here, though. You wasn't
no,
here
you
yet.
talking about
It was in 2000, I
Dude, what
believe.
was
we
his
was in
name?
college
Yeah.
and
He scored a touchdown.
he was drafted the same year as Heath Schuler. Gus Farrat.
Yeah,
Gus
good,
Farrat.
great memory, Fred. Great memory.
Gus Farrat, yeah.
So who was the last franchise quarterback in Washington? Was it Theismann?
We're going to have to give RG3 his props.
But he was only here for a year, though.
I know it, but he was that for a year.
Was it Kirk Cousins? Is that another one that we
Kirk
Cousins.
Cousins?
Kirk Cousins,
I
probably.
say Kirk was most definitely. Even the relationship was always.
But not with the fans, with the ownership.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
always kind of on the outs.
Yeah.
I would have to say the last true franchise quarterback, no matter how vast his talent is,
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I think the last two you can arguably say either RG or Kirk.
Yeah. And then before that, I'm just for the history.
Uh,
nerds.
Jason
Before that-
Campbell.
Jay was
right.
never
I don't think he ever.
a franchise quarterback.
But I mean,
That's what he was drafted.
we
to
drafted
do,
him as a first round
Yeah,
pick.
we
He
did.
was here for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
So.
but we gave him so many coordinators. I don't think we really gave Jay
Yeah.
a chance
Yeah,
to
that's
be
right.
special. Before that, it was like this carousel.
We had
of
Mark
That's what I'm
Brunell.
saying. Like I was just
Yeah.
thinking about, like, just when you were talking about
Todd Collins.
all those guys, like there wasn't anybody that kind of came in and
Yeah.
and
owned the job.
stabilized the franchise.
Yeah, and
nobody.
so I think back and it was like Like, was it Theismann or was someone after him?
Well, Theismann got all the records. So
Yeah.
right now, as of today, Theismann is the #1 quarterback.
Yeah, leave a comment.
In the
Is
franchise.
that your franchise quarterback?
Yeah.
Is it Theismann? Is it? I mean, it's Sonny, I think, but obviously that's before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's really interesting.
Swinging Sammy Ba.
And it's so crazy to think about what Jaden does now. You know, like, and how the offseason's different. Like, I think about, like, everyone's talking about you need #2 wide receiver. And I'm like, when you got a quarterback,
It don't matter who's at #2. He just listen to me. He showed you I can make anybody better. I'm a true force multiplier.
Yep.
That's when you know you got a franchise quarterback. We can go through Tom Brady wide receiver group. They was different every year.
Yeah.
Like every year.
Same way with Pat Mahomes. He haven't had a for sure guy since
Tyreek
Tyreek left. So, and the same thing we talk about when we talk about defensive backs. Like, you don't need the top 2 or 3 corners in the league
edge rushers.
when you got edge rushers, when you got a great defensive front. So that's what we've been saying all last year, and it was great to see that we was able to show the world, you know, to show the NFL that last year with guys like Noah, guys like Zacchaeus, what's your man name?
all of them.
Jameson, all those guys who was here, all was capable of being that leader at that given day when you gave him a chance. you know?
what's the next step for him? You know, Jaden, because I think about last year, a lot of quick game, a lot of kind of RPO, a lot of like kind of deleverage throws, and obviously he made big plays in big moments. Is it just more
Maturity? Like, here go the thing about it. We know the more as we play, the more it slows down for us. All right? If he was that dangerous from the first taste, now that the game just slowed down for him, because you can't get no bigger than the NFC Championship. All right? He's showing under pressure, I get better.
Yeah.
Under pressure, things slow down for me. He's going to go back to the lab and say, all right, I need to be throwing this instead of this. Like, he's just going to correct. He's gonna self-correct himself. And I think that's what's going to make him even more dangerous. I can look for him to run less. I hate to say that. His legs will always be a weapon.
Yeah.
But I look for him to run less and let his legs dictate what the defense calls so he can use his arm to beat them.
I think consistency is key. I think at any position in our game, if he can come back, because, you know, it's highly unlikely that things are going to pan out the way it did last year.
Yeah, we won too many close games.
But as a player, you know, all you want to do is be the person you were or better.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You want to see his response. You want to see him be able to navigate the offense the way he did last year, but now at a different level, because now this is year 2.
Yeah.
Now he's a little more wiser. He's a little more better with things. He's going to, you know what I mean? So if he was that sharp out the gate, then all you want to do is see him be as sharp and then even sharper at times when they giving us something.
Yeah.
Oh, it ain't gonna be no love, and now you're gonna see more of the. I got this guy one-on-one. Let me go to him. You know what I mean? Taking advantage of some of the things that he probably, you know, held back from because he wanted to go through the, you know, the flow of the game.
And we got him some more weapons. So more weapons makes your job more easier.
Yeah.
All right, we got guys that's good at yak with Debo Samuels. We got Terry that's in his bag.
Yeah.
We got guys that's going to – Larry Tunsil's the one we need to talk about.
Yeah.
He's going to give him what he really needs, and that's time.
Yeah.
Like time for deep plays to develop down the field, time to run them. What I feel like we should have ran more of, that I think we are going to run more of, is like the intermediate 15-yard dig routes. It take time to do that, though. You got to have a line to block and
Yeah, I was
protect.
gonna say that.
Yeah, so I look for us to attack that part of the field more than we did, because to me, we was like either throw it quick or we're going to throw it down the field. Like, to me, we didn't have that that's what made it hard for us to stop the greatest show on turf when we had to play the Rams.
Yeah, because
with
they
Torrey
had
Hogan and
the
Bruce.
drifts, they had the ends, they had those 12 and 15-yard in
60%
cuts.
of their routes.
And curls and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that means they're going to average more than 10 yards a catch, because 5 of my 7 catches are 15-yard dig routes.
Yeah, so I think you bring up a lot of good stuff there. So, Tanner, you're talking about consistency and developing, and I think one of the things that, again, we expect him to do that on his own to a certain extent because he's a special guy, but I also love what the staff's done, right?
Yeah.
Adam, Dan,
I was gonna say that.
what they've done. They've done a really good job of kind of saying, hey, like, we've got the left tackle, we've got Debo. And so I think now, like, with these pieces, like you already hit it there a little bit, Fred, but, like, how does the offense look different, and does this help Jaden kind of take that next step? I mean, I think so. I think the answer is equivocally yes, but I want to ask you guys.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, you know, because you got to look at how the league is going to try to change and try to say, okay, let's see if he's that guy.
But see,
you know what I mean?
I didn't heard that, but I don't think they
But
can adapt
I'm just
to
saying,
it.
I just feel like every year is going to be that test. You're going to get a team that's going to say, all right, we're going to sit back now again. We're going to let them do something more than what we allowed him to do last year. We're not going to rush him. Last year, he didn't run as much. He ran when he had to.
Design.
He ran to get out of trouble. But when you build around him, like how we brought in Tunsil and brought in these other extra bodies that's going to probably be depth pieces for us in our offensive line, we have to establish a better run game. We have to have a sustainable run game. From week 1 to 17, I feel that the run game is going to be key because now that's going to allow us to always dictate what we're going to get out there. You know what I mean? If we allow the defenses to say, well, they ain't running well, we're going to sit back, then it's always going to be tougher because I don't care who you are as a passer. When guys are in your lane, it's tough to throw the ball to them. You don't have the weapons, so it's going to be checked down and all this other stuff. So I just feel like that's the part of the game that I hope offensively that we don't have to sit here and still be trying to, correct. Like, oh man, we got to run better. We got to run better. We got to, run block better. And that's what I want to see from us.
But also I think like when you look at the teams that gave the Commanders a hard time last year, like Pittsburgh, Philly, teams that were able to play man coverage, press up, and win with 4. Like now, obviously with the addition of Laramie Tunsil, like you lose that becomes less effective because you've moved Brandon Coleman over. You've got like a really solid core of guys.
You got better.
And so again, like now, like Terry can take a little bit more time to win versus man coverage, right? So I think that's something again. Like this is what I've always I appreciate about this offseason. I feel like they're making smart decisions about issues that they had last year and finding pieces to get it done. Because like Debo again, is not like a great man piece, but he elevates your base offense, right? So like they all kind of fit into these roles, and if the perfect vision happens, then the offense around Jaden supports Jaden's development.
It's way around it. Like I had the chance last week. You can go to the Get Live podcast. I interviewed Adam Peters. It was fun.
Really?
I got
That's sick.
Yeah, I got a chance to pick his brain. Y'all didn't know it. He went to junior college too. He a junior college guy, so we got to really like chop it up. And I learned his approach of how he looks.
Was it you by yourself?
Just me by myself, 101. I went straight. I went to my CNN voice when I was talking to him. You know what I'm saying? And it was fun.
That's on Get Loud.
Yeah, it's on Get Loud, and we had fun.
Check it out.
And I like his approach and some things he said.
What is something that stood out to you from him, from how he got the thing?
When he started free agency this year, what was made it different from last year? And he said, like, last year, it felt like I had more free agent options than I had this year. So that's why I think he went with the approach of, since the free agency is not packed, I'm going the trade route.
Gotcha.
Our biggest 2 guys, Laramie Tunsil and Debo, was from trades, not free agency. So I think he's always looking for another way to get things done. He won't take no for an answer. And that's what I like about how he gets things done. And I asked him the ingredients of what does he consider a commander? But and the love of the game. Like he like people that love to play football.
How ironic is it? Or I'm not sure if I want to use that word, but being that we was here for a while, we was Redskins, we was core Redskins. All of us had a chance to play for the Redskins. You put that slash on it, now it's Commanders, and you feel like it's the same. You have to be wired the same. But when you look at now the guys we bringing in, does it make you feel like, well, damn, was I a core?
If Gibbs stamped us,
you know what I'm saying?
Because
I look at it and I'm like, I feel like I can play with any coach. I can play for any coach because I'm very coachable, and I don't want to just say that I've heard that.
You could have.
But when I look at the guys they're bringing, I'm like, well, damn. I wish I was in this time being able to be judged and say, this is a guy I want on this squad.
Because we had some that I think unique to the guys they like, simply just loving to play the game and available. Like, that's what they like. They like availability. All us, we didn't miss games. All right? We didn't miss games, and we was never the reason why not. And I think that's a good thing.
And I'm not speaking for myself here, but in commenting on your careers, you guys are both really good players. And so what I will say is they like tough players, smart players, competitive players, but they like good players. So I do think it would fit in really, really well.
Well, basically, you are John Bates. So you would have made this roster.
In some capacity.
They made the mold off of him, right?
That's why I told you, John Bates should have sent you a gift when he got back.
I'll have to talk to him about that.
You need to send them shoes you wore.
That's what he got on, them John Bates threes right now.
I have it on John Bates.
Bates Motels.
So let's talk about 2 guys. One guy they brought in the trade, and that's Debo Samuel. And then the other guy that I think is interesting and maybe I'd like to get your take on this, Tana, is the Michael Gallup, right? So
I think it's
obviously,
going to be bigger than people think it is.
I think we are very clear about what Debo's going to do in the
Yeah.
offense. At least I feel and obviously that can change.
Yeah.
But, kind of this screen, quick game, kind of maximizing guy underneath
just
stuff.
physical.
Yeah.
I'm going to bend DBs to my wheel. Like, think about this. Think about as a DB taking on Debo Samuel's 9-10 plays, then got to take on the running back, then got to take on the tight end. You physically beat up.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I think we all feel very clear about his role. You know, I think he's just going to maximize what this offense wants to be at its base level.
Yeah.
Quick game, screens, and then he can still kind of win down the field, which is awesome. Create mismatches from the backfield. We did a breakdown on that on the Command Center. Make sure you check it out. The Michael Gallup one to me is a little bit interesting because he hasn't played football for a year.
But guess what? I always tell people, man, if I was running the NFL, I would make NFL players have a mandatory year off every 6 years.
Really?
Because I just think your body and your mind need to heal, man. Year after year after year. Like, the only thing that saves some of us is, I know y'all don't want to hear this, we do have that season injury that forces us to sit out a year that helps you gain 4 years.
Yeah.
All right, so, and his hunger will not be denied. You know how it is when we miss a year of football. You want to get back out there. My perfect comp to him, I think he gonna bring everything that Noah Brown brought last year. I think it's a comp there.
And what's great about it, you got Noah back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we got two of these.
So
I'm not saying he's going to make the team, but I think back to him in like 2022.
Yeah.
When he was that dude, 1,100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
And like everyone's like, oh, we're looking for a number two. And that guy, if you can get that guy on this team, like he can win versus man coverage. He can run every route. He can win contested catch situations. He tracks the
blocks
football
better
well
than
down the
you think.
field. Like he was borderline about to make a ton of money. And obviously the injury gets kind of sidetracks the whole thing. But to me, you're bringing him in at a very low, very favorable contract number.
Yeah.
And if you get that kind of
Low
production,
risk, high reward.
and so that's what I look at him like. If you get, he's a true two, and we haven't had a guy like, and I like Noah, I like OZ, but this guy has the ability to elevate and win in a way. If you get that version of him,
if you get that version of him. I think also too, if you look at it, right now I think we have a 1A and a 1B. Wherever you want to put Terry and your boy Debo, wherever you want to slot them. To me, both of them are dogs amongst dogs. You got one rock rolling, you got a boxer. You know what I mean? Or however you want to, you want to phrase it. And then you got a two. I like Noah. I like Noah Brown as a true two. I mean, a lot of people want to look at, if you watched Noah play last year, I watched him play, man, always got open. Even when he wasn't open, he was getting the penalty. Somebody was holding him, doing something to him.
Pass
like,
interferences.
he made things happen when the ball came his way. He made plays. We already know the hell Noah, you name it. Noah Brown, to me, is a solid true two. If Gallup could be anywhere near where he was when he left Dallas, bro, we're packed.
Yeah.
You know,
it is weird.
It's going to be a fight to see who's going to be who
How many reps
in
you
that
gonna
room
get? Yeah.
because you have a lot of potential of guys to go out there who can win in man-to-man, win in zone, this period, win.
And you get the basketball body types, right?
Yeah.
You get like, you're kind of bigger, more physical guy in Debo. You get your true X.
A
and
twitchy
Terry.
guy. You got
a big guy.
you got a guy that just a damn bulldozer guy. And Debo, I don't know where you want to put him at. That dude he feisty. You know what I'm saying? He's going to find a way.
Football player.
He's a guy that, you know how we talk about guys taking advantage of going up top where you can, you know how you have that Tyreek effect where you can be, we got 80 yards to go and you give him something, it's gone. He's going to get you 80.
Yeah.
I saw Debo turn many plays within 2 to 5 yards into 60 and 70-yard plays because of his, I guess you can say extra effort when he catches the ball.
Ability,
never going to go down. So you just have so many different weapons, man. And I just love the way that they went out there and say, okay, we're going to bring this guy back because he showed us that he was valuable for us last year at the receiver position in Noah Brown. We're going to go get a Gallup that can stretch the field. When we got him on the field, if he makes this squad, which I believe he will, he's to be one of those guys. Like, you have so many guys that's going to make sure that the defense can't sit there and say, I'm going to play one side.
Well, here's the thing I love about Debo. He's an automatic defensive check. When he comes in, we have to alert. We don't know where he's going to line up at. All right. He reminds me, now, he don't have the speed of this guy, but the way he's utilized, Percy Harvin, one of my favorite players of all time.
Yeah, Percy was
Right? When Percy
dynamic.
came in the game,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're XZ. I don't even know. They finna put him at tailback.
Yeah, that
I
dude.
don't know where this guy is going.
He was like Bush on steroids.
Yes.
Like he was a different kind of
just a
Reggie
different
Bush.
mode
Like,
of athlete. Like, just get me the ball. I don't care how y'all get me the ball.
This is a question I ask y'all though. Do you think now Terry gets the respect of being that true number one? They're gonna say, you know what, we're gonna cloud him and let everybody else try to beat us.
I mean, I think that's the thing you just alluded to, though. If these guys play the way that they can
have
play,
potential
you
to.
can't do it.
Yeah, you can't do
like, with them, we didn't even talk about Zach. Like this offense, again, this is all projection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Projecting. Like you're getting a good version of Gallup. You're getting a healthy version of Noah. Because as much as we like Noah, he hasn't been healthy the last couple of years of his career. But best version of Debo, like it's a dynamic playmaking group all of a sudden.
See, I only ask the question because, like, we talk about different positions at the receiver position. A lot of folks just think, oh, he play wide receiver. No,
Nah.
there's an X, there's a Z, there's a slot. You know, you want
F,
to
yeah.
name them Y or G,
Y,
however
yeah,
you want to name
all
them.
of it.
So I remember in the Shanahan era when I had them they just came in 2010. I had 1,000-some yards at 210. Remember, I tell you, I was heavy as all outdoors. And I remember when they signed me back. Remember, it was 2011 when we had the little. It was a lockout almost.
Yeah.
They signed me back, and immediately Shanahan was like, "That year, I'm moving you to X."
Yeah.
Because we have
Pierre?
we
Was
had
it Pierre?
no we had Rashay Caldwell and we had
Bubba.
my man Jabbar Gaffney. Both of those guys are capable of being number ones if you need them to be.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Tan, you did a lot at Z. You're gonna always go at Gator and be the slot guy, but I'm gonna put you at X."
Yeah.
And I swear, I remember having this meeting with Shanahan right before I broke my hand that year. And he brought me in off. He say, I'm changing you back to Z today.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like you're not getting open at X. I say, Shanahan, you turn the film on. They got a cloud over me.
Yeah.
That's what the X position does.
Yeah.
You don't have that other guy there where you can't. So at Z, you double me, the tight end
He's
open,
open.
or
Yeah.
somebody else open.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
X, it's just me out there.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm not getting the same production that I got from you in the passing game. I said, yeah, because they giving me a shell.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I know, but I'm gonna change you to Z today. And the day he changed me at Z, we went to Carolina, I broke my hand.
Yeah.
But I was asking that question because of that. Like, you have a guy in Terry, we saw he lined up on the left a lot. And then when people started noticing it, we started switching them.
Yeah.
Now you're bringing these other guys. You, as a defense, you're gonna pick one guy that we must
Stop.
we must stop. And because that's how I always felt. It was always say, all right, we can shut 89 down, somebody else beat us.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, does Terry get that respect, knowing that he earns it? I mean, he went out there and showed you every year he's put up the numbers.
Yeah.
Is he the guy, or are you saying that I'm more concerned with what Debo going to do, or a guy like Gallup? You know what I'm saying?
You got to play it how we call. You got to play it. You got to play it true. You got to
Yeah.
play it true. Now, if you want to have options, this is what you'll do when it comes to those two. You would say, I'm gonna take my number one corner and I'm gonna put him on Debo by himself.
By himself.
I'm gonna take the number two corner and I'm gonna double Terry.
give him help.
You give him help, and Ertz got to beat.
Somebody else got to beat me.
And somebody else got to beat.
Yeah.
him.
That's what Philly did basically.
Yeah. So that's what they're gonna do. Now, I don't think Philly gonna have that option this year because Big Play Slay is gone.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to see.
Well, whether they can get out there with four.
I was about to say they're gonna
They
find
can
a
get
way.
out there with up front.
Hey, every team gets better a little worse in the
Yeah, you're right.
offseason. I say Philadelphia, for the most part, got just a tiny bit worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
We'll
say
see
they got
though,
better.
man. They're really talented.
They're super talented, and I worry about them in the draft. Like
Yeah.
I always worry about them in the draft because they have drafted so well.
I mean, that's got to run out, man. It's
They
like
hit
sitting,
home runs,
it's
man.
like
They-
sitting at the roulette
them
table.
and the Ravens, for some odd reason, boy, they don't miss.
Well, Ozzie Newsome is the truth.
Yeah.
He told him on my kiss goodbye, I'm gonna leave you with my Lamar Jackson.
That is wild. But he still helps out though.
No, he still this shows you a franchise that understands the franchise is only strong as the people.
Yeah.
They understand that.
Because I every year I like, because where we sit when we watch the combine drills
Yeah.
is right in front of the Ravens box, and I see he's like he's got a stopwatch out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I thought that dude retired like 5 years ago,
No,
but
no,
here,
no.
here he is,
And he
time in
probably-
40s.
Probably still getting them up.
Let
Let me give you a little bag. Bring
Let's give you that
bring that
Kyle
brain over
Ripken
here.
check right quick to come help us
Bring
for
that
a second.
brain over here.
And some free crab cakes for life.
So we talked a lot about the offense, and like again, I think we all feel pretty good about it. I think defensively we feel good about the improvements, very similar, and I think that leads us nicely into the draft and like kind of what our expectations are for the next opportunity for the team to start kind of building.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like, is there? I really feel like Adams put us in a spot, put the organization in a spot to like pick the best player available.
Yep.
What does that look like? Or go ahead. What you got?
No, I was gonna say no because I mean I feel like we all have that in mind that the best we in a situation right now that we haven't been in a long time
Yeah.
where you can honestly go on the draft and say, okay, whatever is sitting around, that's what we're gonna go after the best player that's available at that moment. Or this is me talking. Do you see them saying, you know what? It's a guy or two that I can go get here, and I'd rather have more picks for. So let me trade back.
I'm so glad you asked that,
You know what I'm
Tanner.
saying?
Because like when I do, I'm kind of like working on my big board, which is like your 1 to 300 type of thing. I'm not gonna do 300 guys, but you're
Yeah.
1 down, right?
Yeah.
And obviously those kind of fall into tiers, which is your horizontal board. Like tier 1 is like these 5 players and go down. And so when I was kind of like messing with it the other day, I was like, actually, the difference between pick 29 and pick
35.
35 or
It's no
40,
difference.
It's no different.
It's no difference.
because you can get ballers there. And so again, like obviously, like just to kind of work through some draft kind of gymnastics, if there's a dude at 29 that you have in a tier above,
Yeah,
right,
above
like a
29.
little bit better, like Mike Green is the guy you talked about the other day. Like I personally have him in a higher tier.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know anything about the
Then
off-field
James
stuff.
Pierce. Jr.
Yeah, he's a higher tier than me. So for me, if he's there at 29, I'm gonna probably pull the trigger.
Yeah.
If he's gone, it's James Pierce Jr., Landon Jackson.
I'm taking the thing. I'm gonna run it up there if James Pierce.
But
is
I'm
there.
saying, but for me,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
that's kind of, they're all kind of the same. Like Nick Scorton, Landon Jackson, they're all kind of in the same bucket. So if I want an edge, I can trade back 5 spots, 10 spots, and be happy. And then I think in a year where we've given a lot of draft capital for Laramie Tunsil and Deebo Samuel, we only got 5 picks.
Yeah.
If we can get 2
One
picks
more.
back,
Yeah.
another pick here and there,
Yeah.
like another bite at the apple, I think that would be the way to go.
And I
to
see
me.
this, AP them seem like they are those type of guys when it comes to just being strategic. You know what I mean?
Patient.
Like why pull the trigger if I know I could get them 10 slots,
and
back
I can
there
get more
and get more for that. You know what I mean?
I have to ask myself scenarios because every draft it's always scenarios. All right, we do this every year. It's a run on quarterbacks, no matter how weak the quarterback draft is.
This year, I don't think there's going to be.
I'm gonna give you a scenario. At 29,
Yeah.
the phone rings. All right, Jackson Dart is still there.
Trade out of it.
The New Orleans Saints want
Let's
want
go.
to draft. Want to draft Dart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got to take that. I think you got to take that.
I
Especially if they're
don't
gonna give you a
think
second
I don't
and
think
third.
there's a question.
Yeah.
If there's a quarterback there and someone's trying to get for a quarterback, I'm gonna say
Give me what you got.
Give me everything you got. I'm gonna move back wherever.
This is a stick up.
because again, I was-
stick up.
I was talking to
The money in the bag.
I was talking to Mike Renner he used to do the PFF stuff. He now does the show with Kyle Long
Yeah,
on whatever CBS. And he was like, dude, yeah, like second round. And I look at the second and third round, I'm like, dude, I want picks there.
Get studs,
Because
man.
there's good value there.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And there's a little bit of risk associated with that, but I'm like,
It's risking every pick in the draft.
yeah. We just talked about the manual forms. Like Caroline just texted me. She's like, Logan, Jane Daniels was the 10th player on your board last year, right?
Yeah.
But for me, they're all in the same tier, those 10 players.
Yeah,
So like they're
yeah.
all kind of the
They
same.
was all in them, yeah.
Way to
But-
throw him under the bus,
No,
Caroline.
I think but I think this is a good talking point here, right? And at quarterbacks, like you're saying, Fred, always go a little bit higher, right?
Yeah, like it's no value you could put on the quarterback.
Right.
Like I'm sorry, like I have watched it doing my draft. I watched it doing draft before me, and I'm like, man, it's 2 positions that shape the draft every year because it's just a run on them, and that's offensive tackle and that's quarterback. Like they have to be a little good to climb because it's like it's so much demand for them. Like
Right.
it's so much demand because they just so
in
important.
the same way as edge rushers too.
Yeah,
nowadays.
they will push
like
the
those
draft.
3.
They'll push your draft value down because of their positional work.
So let's talk about for the Commanders at 29. If they do stick and pick, obviously we just talked about how we think if they can. And
Yeah.
again, you never know. You need 2 people to be involved in this, right? You need
Yeah.
someone to want to trade up. At 29, are there positions? We don't have to do names. Are there positions that you say we should be thinking about this position at 29?
I can't do positions because I don't think that's how he thinks.
So what I'm saying, so like this is what I'd say. Yes, I think you're right. I think he's thinking best player available.
Yeah.
But when I look at this 29 pick, I'm thinking like there's going to be a lot of edge rushers there.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be 1 corner, maybe 1 safety.
You don't think Ravel will be there, Siobhan Ravel?
Because
I think he's a Dan Quinn corner.
I think he'll be there, right? And so that's why I say 1 corner, right?
Yeah.
But if he's gone ahead of time, I'm not going to pick a corner. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So then there's probably 4 edge rushers. There's maybe 1 offensive lineman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like we're getting in like a little bit. There's one linebacker, Jahad Campbell. Like, there's maybe one running back, Amari Hampton, who I'd probably wait to take a running back anyway. Nick Scorton.
Scorton?
Yeah, I like him a lot. But again, I think if I'm taking an edge and I have this, and this is important, if I have the same grade on all those guys, I'm going to trade back. Because they're all the same, like they're in the same bucket.
Yeah.
So like Nick Scorton, Landon Jackson, Donovan Ezaraku, the kid from Boston College, like
who they are putting on us a lot,
dude. And talk about a guy that's a Dan Quinn type of guy.
What about Morrison, Benjamin Morrison?
So the hip thing, he's the corner from Notre Dame.
Well, like him and Ravel got the injury.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But the ACL, I'm a little bit more comfortable with Shervon Ravel from East Carolina. Obviously, has an ACL injury. A little bit more comfortable with that because you know the timetable, right?
Yeah.
Like when you get a DB who's got multiple hip surgeries, I'm a little bit like, or even Josh Simmons, the tackle from Ohio State, who I love. Yeah. I think he could be there. Like he tore his patella. Like that's a weird rehab for me. You know, I'm not super comfortable with it. So
I'm gonna ask y'all this because I know y'all dive in a little deeper than I ever do when it comes to the draft. Say for instance, we at that 29th pick, and we know how strong or not so strong this running back class is. But the running back is very strong. We know that much.
Yeah.
But the running back that we all kind of like,
Henderson, Trayvon,
he's sitting there available at 29. People got a comp that say he might be a second-round pick, but you like, man, I don't know.
He got a lot of first-round grades.
A lot of first-round grades.
So this is what I'd say to
Do
this.
you pull the trigger?
This is where trusting your board and trusting your scouts is important, right? So I think back to Detroit, obviously, when they drafted a linebacker, Campbell, that's a low position of value contractually,
Middle linebacker,
and then obviously running back Jahmyr Gibbs, both in the first round, right? And then they drafted a safety in the first and the second. So those are all kind of low value picks.
Yeah.
But I think what you take from that is if your grade, if your bucket, if let's say Henderson is a third tier player, and at 29 there shouldn't be that many third tier players left, and you trust that process, take him.
You got him.
Yeah.
But
But that's where you go back to the homework you did before.
Yeah. And is it icing on the cake? Because I think for Detroit, it was icing on the cake.
For a back. But also the way they described him, I thought was important. He was a playmaking weapon.
Yes.
And we saw that in the playoff games, right?
Did we? But that's what I think when you look at Henderson and you look at the offense that we have right now, that's a talent that you say, do I wait when I have it right now? He could come in and be an impact right now.
I think when they looked at Jahmyr Gibbs, they were like, ain't no another
it
one
wasn't
of these in this
no
draft.
more Sonic Hedgehogs out there.
It's not another one of these. Let's go snatch him up.
That dude,
while we
that
can.
is special.
And I think in a draft that's loaded with running backs, that makes me more comfortable to say, I can get one later.
And just to give, and for fans, I think people hone in because it's like, oh, I only heard about Henderson. I've only heard about Henderson. Like you've got CJ Harvey from
he got a lot of running
Central
backs.
Florida,
Rocket
right?
Sanders.
That's just the one. Henderson
Sanders.
is just my favorite.
No, but I'm saying like in terms of similar skill set, he's from Central
Iowa.
Florida, right?
Yeah.
And then you got Basil Tootin from Virginia Tech. He ran the 4.3.
Right down in your neighborhood.
Bashard Smith from SMU, man. He's a converted wide receiver, like with straight gasoline in the tank.
No, he can fly.
So I look at those guys and I'm like, maybe the difference between Henderson and those guys isn't as far.
Minuscule.
And so why would I reach on a guy?
Reach on a guy when you can.
Not reach, but why would I spend so much draft capital?
Basically saying that you don't really have to because it's the other guys that if I don't get this guy where I want to get him at, there's 2 or 3 more guys I can grab.
And I think that's one thing that fans have a hard time with is they hear the same names over and over and over again. And it's like, oh, we didn't get Henderson. This is a terrible draft. Yeah. It's like, well, shoot, I actually like player X better than that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just trust the organization that they've done more homework than you have. And they know. So I was talking to one of the scouts for a different team, and he's like, how many guys do you think I watch? And I was like, he's the head of college scouting. Yeah. And I was like, you personally? He was like, I watch 500 guys. I write reports. Write reports on 500 guys.
He must be on a love life. His wife mad at him.
Well, dude, I mean, that's why that's his job. That's a full-time job. You know what I'm saying?
This is also his time of the year.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Aaron Peters, like, how is this year different from last year? He was like, last year I was starting from scratch. I had never did it before. Yeah. This year I have a routine and I have hired the guys around me that makes my job easier. Like you say, I got the guys that got to study 500 guys that had to give me the report. Now I got to go back and restudy these guys myself. Like, what guys guys fit what we need.
Yeah.
And that's the key. And what value do we get? And I think that's why that car gonna go in reverse at 29. We gonna end up somewhere around 39 or somewhere around
And so
there.
you did your interview with Adam, and
Yeah.
I did an interview with Dan. And one of the things that I took out of the interview that I thought was so awesome was like the thing that Adam does such a good job of is like we tell Adam what we want and what we need.
Yeah.
And he says, let's look at the board and where's the value in the
Yes.
draft. So you talk about getting value, and I think like having a guy that's full-time job is to understand that is so incredibly important.
And that's how you fill rooms.
Yeah.
By best player available. Like, that's how I got birthed into this league. I was drafted best player available. They didn't need me.
Yeah.
They had 3 yellow jackets in the room. They were like, no, he's the highest rated person on the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, draft
Yeah,
board.
because we didn't think he was going second round. I just knew you was the first round guy.
I was until, you know.
Are you trying to hype him
till
up
I-
on
till
that?
I-
No, he just showed me why Fred has always been Fred.
I wasn't
Like,
sure
why
why.
the hell he going the second round?
No, I just ran loose on campus a little hard before the draft. Dropped me
Hey,
about 20 spots.
I told you I was very impressed with Fred. When I
know,
met
yeah, you
Fred
said that,
and went
yeah.
home and then I watched him play that year, because now you know when you got to put a person's game with their face and
Yeah,
their
yeah.
mouth. And he talked so much shit that weekend. I was like, oh, I got to watch this dude. And even when I didn't watch him, his name was mentioned.
Yeah.
Fred Smoot. I say, this guy doggone dude really could ball. So, especially as a corner, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't see him going second round. Was you like the first pick in the second round? Yeah, you was.
30.
No, I was 35. Drew Brees was 34.
Okay, got you.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I know you was up there.
Yeah, Drew, you gotta realize the second round consists of
You
Drew
said-
Brees, me, Chad Johnson,
Chad, yeah.
like all the second round.
Chad Johnson was second round pick?
No, our whole second round was straight ballers.
Bro,
like
we already told you our 2001 class is up there. It's top
you
5.
know when I showed you that thing the other
Yeah,
day, we was the number 4 best draft class
we
of
top
all
five.
And just
time.
going through, if you got free time today, go check it out. It's like, oh my gosh.
Check out them gangsters in 2001.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so obviously we feel really good about where the team's at. You can pick best player available. We're excited to see what they do, and I'm trusting that Adam Peters has done more homework than me,
Yeah.
and we're going to
Way
find really
more.
good football players.
I
So
think I just don't think we're gonna make a first round pick. In my head.
Yeah.
In my head, I think our
and
first
again,
pick gonna be in the second.
you need someone to trade up with you, but
Yeah.
I think like I would agree.
I just want to be at the same bar that they have you at with the mic.
and when they
When we
draft
make the
Emmanuel
pick.
Forbes the third,
I just want to be there when you there. I told you we was going to trade
I
back.
see y'all tomorrow.
All right, so that's going to lead us to our next segment, which is Risk It for the Brisket, and we're doing an NFC East breakdown.
For the brisket or the biscuit.
The biscuit. I said brisket.
You had brisket last
Yeah,
night.
I've been saying it sounds like
Biscuit.
brisket. All right.
And then that's presented by Marsh McLennan Agency, your partner in risk and people strategies. Let's start with the New York Giants, which feels kind of like a dumpster fire.
Yes.
Because they brought in Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, which is fine. I like both
I
those players.
love Jameis Winston.
And then who do you fear of those two?
Yeah.
Like who do you fear more?
Hey, I hate to say this.
I don't get into all that because I'm gonna stop it right here because Fred gonna put something out there in the air and then we gonna be back here talking and be like, see, Fred, you done talked the man up there.
You know that politician
Don't do
Ruskell
it.
and
Don't
rode me
do
the
it.
wrong way.
I know.
Listen, Jameis, if I'm a wide receiver in the league and I get a call and they're like, yeah, man, we just signed Jameis.
Thank God.
I'm like, I'm finna have a year.
No,
Because
yeah.
the one
He
thing
gonna give you a
Jameis
chance.
will
He
do,
gonna
He'll
give you a
spin that
chance.
thing.
he will give you a chance to become a hero. Right? Russell
You
more
saw what he did to
calculated.
Judy last year.
Yeah,
Dude,
Judy
right?
had did nothing.
Judy balled the hell out.
Judy
last
had did nothing. Jameis like this. That thing gonna get picked.
year. Yeah.
We gonna get a touchdown.
Oh, we gonna score.
Like, I love that. If
Yeah.
I'm a wide receiver, and it'll make me play more
Nah.
defensively
And
fun.
you, and you know what's crazy?
I
Is
rock with that, too.
I've heard nothing but great things about him.
Yeah.
Like he's a great teammate. I know he's
Yeah.
like all the crazy speeches and stuff, but I
Yeah.
heard guys love playing.
No, they
for
love him, man.
So for me, like I know,
I
like,
just feel like whoever did his LASIK, they need to go get him his money back because he still can't see.
Hey,
but
he'll still throw it to the other
he
man.
don't throw it to the other jersey.
Hey, but-
He heard his ass. I just don't throw pick sixes. And the next week he threw 2 of them.
Hey, every time I look up James chasing somebody, I enjoy, like, first of all, if I'm gonna be in a dumpster fire, I want it to have a little fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he gonna bring that.
Yeah, he gonna
like,
bring that.
Like, Russell has already started them shenanigans.
no.
He came in that thing, his first,
He ain't say let's ride.
no, he said, go Big Blue.
No, he did not.
I can't take it. Listen, this dude, man.
he's a borderline Hall of Famer, right? Like,
I think so.
He
I think
is
so.
a borderline Hall of Famer, but I think the tail end of his career is starting to teeter it. You see what I'm saying?
But I think he did enough early, man.
One Super Bowl.
He's an interception away from being a 2-time champ, man. Like,
but guess what you
do
just said?
Do you blame him?
He sent Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler is from Mississippi. He's from a town called Vicksburg, Mississippi, 15 miles away from Jackson. They was throwing parades for Malcolm, all kinds of stuff, right? Because of Russell, right? Now, Richard Sherman and the Legion of Doom, most of them first ballot Hall of Famers. I think Russ is one of those guys, because if Eli won the first ballot, I don't know if Russ get in, man.
I think Russ get in. But I look at it like this. Get back to the point or the question. Yeah, I think Jameis Winston is a guy who I'm afraid of.
do you think it keeps them from drafting a quarterback?
No.
I think they'll
And
draft a
where? They're not
quarterback.
going to draft one.
They're gonna
What are
draft
they
a
picking?
quarterback.
3, 4?
And that's the crazy part about it. Do they draft Shador? If Shador's sitting there and they still have the third pick, do they draft Shador? And then now how does this pan out with all three of those guys?
I'm giving
there?
Shador the Pat Mahomes treatment.
Let him sit.
I'm letting him sit.
So this is the.
But I don't
this-
think he's a
this-
sit
this-
type of
This
dude.
is why we're not going to spend too much more time on the Giants. It feels like a dumpster fire because basically the owner came out last year and said, I probably should fire the GM and the head coach. And then he didn't fire them.
Yeah.
And so now you get the GM and the head coach making these personnel decisions to keep their job.
And they might not be there.
They might not be there. So are you going to draft a quarterback?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can draft a quarterback because I cannot deny that the owner going to be like, we still got a future here.
Yeah.
And the future is not Jameis, and the future is not Russell Wilson. Like,
So I'm the owner.
Yeah.
You're the head coach. You're making a pitch to me. You're trying to pick quarterback
yeah.
at.
And I'm gonna tell you like this, okay? I need to bring a veteran in here to stabilize us. All right, we got
Two of them.
we got the champions of the NFL in our division. We got an up and coming Washington team, and we got Dak Prescott. And to play against these guys, I'm gonna need a guy that been there and done it right now. I don't need a guy that's learning on the job right now. Now I can't have one of these veterans with Jameis and Russell teach Shador how to be a pro, how to be in here, but I cannot put a rookie on the field this year.
Do you feel like if Shador comes into that room, do you think he's the best player week one?
No.
The thing about so I've done very little quarterback watching this year because we don't need one, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But I will say when I have watched him, it's not.
He doesn't have the strongest arm, right?
It's not.
And I don't
perfect.
know,
You know what I'm
if he
saying?
can spin it in that stadium. You know what that stadium does to quarterbacks.
a little whirl.
Now, Chad Pennington survived in there.
Yeah.
So that gives me faith that Shador can survive in there. But I don't
But
think
I heard what the man name is. He was my GM when I was there, Tannenbaum.
Yeah.
I heard him give a Shador a comp with Kirk Cousins. So do you think
All
he's
right, well,
a Kirk
Kirk is
Cousins?
spinning in there.
Like Kirk
That's what
was,
I'm saying,
Kirk was
like-
a fourth. Kirk was a fourth round pick.
Yeah.
But I'm saying to the point, that's the reason why I asked that question. Like,
Yeah.
if you compare him with Kirk,
Yeah.
no offense, because I love Kirk. Because I
Yeah.
thought Kirk
Yeah,
was
we all love Kirk.
he was precise. He was accurate. You know, he did everything that
know
you
if
had
you
to do
love
to
Kirk.
win.
Yeah. I
So,
love Kirk.
so with that being said, if they're looking at him more of an accurate quarterback that just can't,
Yes.
because I feel like I saw a little more than that in college from him though. He made plays.
Well, the thing is,
not with his legs most of the time,
I would
but
say
in
he's
the pocket.
one-dimensional with the way he makes plays.
Yeah.
He throws himself out of trouble.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that knock on him is says he holds the ball a long time.
Yes, that's
like, well, that's just all. It ain't no perfect prospects. Like all of us come to the league
Yeah.
with something to work on. I think coaching to get him out of it. I just think he ain't the type to say, "Here, go to franchise, take us to victories." I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Not that you do it. Now, Cam is a different question. Cam Ward, I think
Yeah,
Cam
Cam.
Ward has
He-
enough
he ready.
feet to get him out of trouble to help him survive his rookie year.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
ready.
So obviously, Giants got a lot of stuff to work on, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. Are they picking a 3 or 4? I forget.
No, it's three.
It's 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
but guess what? Either 2, but we don't care. We're not going to feel sorry for the
Yeah.
Giants.
Yeah, at
like,
all.
never feel sorry for the Giants.
All right. So Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Weird offseason for them.
Let Jerry cook. That's all I got to say. Listen, I love the way
Don't
they
let
do
him cook.
things.
Let him simmer.
No, let him do what he's doing. He does the oddest things. He waits so long to pay these
Yeah.
players, and he always played top 10 players, top 5 money. He does it on such a high level.
It's
Thank you,
strange,
Jerry.
man. I can't wrap my head around it. Like, just what is the philosophy
He has
over
none.
there. You know what I'm saying? And I understand, like, it's a family-driven.
But his
you know,
philosophy is business, I think.
That's what I'm saying. It's
It's
more
all
business than
business.
anything.
It's
That's what-
business more
But
than
I'm
winning.
like, but just to say that, they still have found a way to be one of the teams that's. I know they talk about them because of the star and because they're America's
Number
team.
one popular
But
franchise in the world.
But besides last year, they have won. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They was winning the last The
Yeah.
last 4 years they won 3 seasons.
In
right?
the regular season.
Yeah,
in the regular season.
In the regular
The
season.
whole knock on them, and they knocked Dak Prescott, my Mississippi State Bulldog, they cannot win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they cannot win in the playoffs. I don't know if it's always something. If it ain't the coaches, it's the players. If it ain't the players, it's the coaches. If it ain't the coaches, it's the owner. If it's just something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think they have a culture. And especially now that I'm seeing and feeling this culture, I don't think they have a culture, because culture is winning over everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think them is, we're going to play on national TV 7 games a year no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, the brand going to be strong. That's all we care about. And it shows in their playing, because it ain't no way. And I love Dak. You know I'm a big Dak guy.
I'm a
Mississippi
big
State
Dak fan
Bulldog.
myself.
Dak is not supposed to be the highest paid quarterback in football.
Yeah, but I think when you get to the point to where he's at, wherever that tier has you, you
Yeah.
got to get paid whatever it's saying you deserve to get paid.
I totally understand.
Yeah,
But when
so
you got a guy,
I don't think a lot of these guys getting paid what they're worth right now. They're getting paid what
the market says.
What the market says. That
But then
they,
you
know
have
what I mean?
guys like Pat Mahomes. You have these other guys that say, we're going to figure this contract out
Yeah.
to where I still need players. All right? Like, it's a way to get it done.
Yeah.
I just think they don't go right about, especially if I'm in the Dallas GM, the first thing I'm selling to these guys, $5 million in Texas is different than $5 million in DC. All right, you're gonna get the whole 5 here. All right, so let's start there. All right, let's start it. The money weighs a little bit more.
But I don't
different.
think they have those that tax over there, tax problem.
They don't
over
have.
there.
They don't have
Yeah.
income tax.
They don't have
They don't have
income.
state tax.
State tax,
Yeah, they
yeah.
don't have state tax.
Yeah.
So therefore, just like Florida,
Yeah.
you get the whole check.
Yeah. But, that comes out in property tax. And it doesn't
Probably
matter.
you're
But,
absolutely right.
But
They're gonna get you one way.
Yeah.
Property
The Dak
tax is a
thing's
mother.
interesting. Obviously, they fired their head coach. They brought in.
So nobody gonna get love to Schottenheimer.
But I mean, like,
You
daddy
the only one
drafted
know him. We don't know him. Tell
Well,
us about
I know
him.
Brian Schottenheimer. He's very intelligent, very smart, and this is what he's
been a
gonna,
coach for a long time.
Yeah, this is what he's gonna bring to the table that I think the last coach did. He's gonna run the ball more. He believes in running the ball. His daddy believed in running the ball. He's gonna run the ball. His first thing he's gonna address is who's in the backfield. I think they already signed a couple running backs in his offseason. He's going to try to get that offensive line back solidified, and he's gonna try to take the game out of Dak's hands.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just an interesting situation to me. Like, different than New York, but kind of feels the same way. It feels
Yeah.
like they just kind of stuck it in neutral.
Yeah.
And then,
But you got to be sadder if you're a Cowboy because you got a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, at
Yeah.
least the Giants can sit here and say,
yeah,
man, we
yeah,
ain't,
I
we
guess
in
that's a good
quarterback
point.
purgatory.
It's like they definitely, the Giants feel like they're in a rebuild.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys feel like they should be full pedal to the gas, let's go. But they just kind of stick it in neutral.
So
like,
do they sign Parsons before the season starts?
They should. They should do
the
that.
sooner, the better.
They should have done it last year. They
Yeah,
should
I'm
have
gonna
given him
say,
extension.
the sooner, the better. Just go sign him. And then, as I really look down the roster,
But that's gonna put them in.
Besides
That's
quarterback-
gonna handicap them a little bit.
Yeah,
though, I think.
besides
Gotta
quarterback,
pay them top dollar.
I think the Giants might have a better roster.
That's an interesting thought, especially now. Like, and everyone thinks, the Cowboys, great, their offensive line's banged up, got a lot of young guys in the group.
Yeah.
Their
That's why I was
receiving groups
saying,
are kind of all.
because the Giants have always been strong everywhere else, but
Quarterback.
lately right now,
Yeah,
the quarterback.
because you look at
position.
Thibodeau, you look at Lawrence, you look at the linebacking core, you look at
Remember,
the defensive
it
back.
has always been a question with Daniel Jones,
Yeah.
but everybody else has been
But
solid.
everybody else been solid.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors, something
Yeah,
about him.
like y'all, the Giants got players. They just in
And now
purgatory.
Jaden Jones is going to be fighting for a starting job over there in Indy. They said they finna let both of those guys.
Well, I think the only thing they messed up with Richards is if the dude ain't play football in college, you got to let him play.
Yeah.
You got to let him play.
I think he messed up
Yeah,
himself.
I think to me, there's like, Anthony Richards is a really interesting example to me, and this is a little bit of a digression of why understanding the person is so important.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's certain guys that can play a little bit of football, but they're like pros, they're on time. And
They're studious.
And I've heard that he's got some maturity issues to
Yeah,
work through.
yeah.
And when you just give somebody who's still young and
The
figuring it
keys
out,
to the car.
like, they sometimes crash that thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so,
And I just feel like he's very much what San Francisco quarterback Trey
Lance.
Lance. Trey Lance had played He hadn't played no games.
Yeah.
He had played one starting year, just like AK-47 played one starting year. And now you get to the leagues, and everybody over-repped. Everybody got more reps than you. And now you playing catch-up. And now you're playing catch-up with a team that's taking you in and out, in and out, in and out. You never even get a groove. Like sometimes I need you to take a step back by not succeeding, going out there playing, to take a step forward. They're just not letting him do it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that leads us to the Philadelphia Eagles. Are they better? Are they worse? Are they the same?
I don't think you ever can stay the same. You either get better or you get worse. Now, I can't say that before the draft because you just don't know what Howie Roseman gonna do in the draft. Like,
I mean, let's look at who all they lost. They lost Big Play Slay. They lost defensive lineman.
Milton.
They lost
Milton,
Big Milton.
Sweat.
They lost Sweat.
Sweat.
But they also drafted some guys that they've been holding in the wings like they do.
That's what I'm
all
saying.
the
They
time.
always have. They got backups.
Yeah,
so.
they got guys that they hold in the wings. But when you lose a veteran like Graham, all right, Brandon Graham.
That's a big one, yeah.
That's a stable now, and we ain't talking sack numbers.
Yeah.
We talking presence.
Culture.
Yeah. So the one thing I can say about Philadelphia, I hate to say this, it tastes like throw up in my mouth. They, when it comes to veterans, culturally, they keep their veterans longer than anybody.
Yeah.
Lance Johnson been there a long time. Fletcher Cox started his career there, finished his career there. Brandon Graham started his career there, finished his career. Like they have faces and people that has been stalwarts in that locker room, and some of these guys are gone.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know.
Offensively, they still intact though. They have all the.
line,
Makai
they
Becton.
lost Makai Becton.
Yeah, they lost Becton.
Lance is got a year older now. He ain't getting younger.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, so they still.
Lane Johnson.
Yeah,
sorry.
Lane. They
Yeah, you
still
say-
got
always
their
say
backbone.
Lance, yeah.
They still got their backbone out there.
Yeah, I think as long as the offensive line, and like you said, Fred, they always are developing offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Like Tyler Steen's been there for 2 years. He's a good backup. You know what I mean? They've got pieces there that make that thing work.
Yeah,
but,
I think they in neutral right now.
But I think the one thing for me is that they were really healthy last year. I don't think they can be that healthy this year.
We
And
were too.
I think there's going to be a regression.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that leads me to the last question. Okay, so we've had a new division winner. The NFC East has had a new division winner
Every year.
season since 2004.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Eagles won last year, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like this is the Commanders' year.
This is our year right
It feels that way.
Take it to the bank. It is.
I mean,
Like
we got a tougher schedule. It's
do.
gonna be
and
tough.
that's fine. Like the one thing I always say to people when they say you got a tougher schedule, I say it's no fair dodging. You got to play everybody anyway.
Yeah,
right? We showed that when we went to Detroit. We showed that in Tampa. When it comes to playing the big dogs, we can play the big dogs, and now we just got reinforcements.
Yeah.
And so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And we know the chronological thing in this division where something always happens to the division leader the next year. And injury, look, you brought that up, is the number one cause of falling a step back.
Yeah.
And sometimes it only needs to happen to one person. You know what I'm saying? So I just think I think we're looking forward to playing them too. Like I don't think our group is saying we don't want none of them. They say, we want some of them. So if I was a betting man right now, I had to go to the casino and bet, I would put my money down as the Commanders winning this division next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting, man.
I like that.
It's an exciting time to be a Commanders fan for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I look at it, I'm like, dude, like, there's a great opportunity for this team to do a lot of good things. They've gotten better, feels like. Everybody else in the division feels like they've kind of stayed status quo.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the time, which would be pretty fantastic.
Well,
so.
put it like this: we're not gonna sneak up on anybody.
Nobody.
All right, everybody gonna give us their best.
But I do think, Tanner, the thing you brought up about strength of schedule will be really interesting because you're playing better quarterbacks, you're playing better teams.
Yeah.
You do have to grow up a lot as a team.
Well, I feel like the schedule. Everybody feel like the schedule. I always say this.
You don't know the schedule. You don't know the schedule till the season
Till you
starts.
play it.
Yeah, until you play.
Like,
Yeah, those teams not going to be the same either.
and-
Yeah.
and-
I just look at quarterbacks though. That's
Yeah,
really what I'm
that's
doing.
what I wanna
and
see.
the quarterbacks are better.
Yeah.
So usually
A
that
lot
makes it
better.
harder on defenses.
Yeah.
And then if it's harder on the defense, you got to score more points. And so that's high level. Just
I
kind of.
thought the south part of the schedule last year, because it was not the AFC North. That's a division of divisions. It was the South.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, because now we're going to play who? The West in the AFC with
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Yep.
I think that's comparable to Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Yep. I think. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as I look at it, is the strength of schedule really changing? I just think NFL football is NFL football. All 32 teams can beat you.
Yeah.
And that's
And
for sure.
I guess I look at the quarterbacks though, and I'm like, in that you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Herbert. You know what I mean? There's like better.
Herbert, listen to me. y'all have been putting Herbert on
Dude,
a pedestal.
he's a good player, though.
He's a good player, but is he a gamer?
He can sling it now.
He can, like, if I write him on a piece of paper, he is the Terminator. Like 6'4", like cannon of an arm. Is he a gamer?
He's slinging.
I mean, there's times he's talented. And look at that offense last year. Look at what they had on offense last year. They had a banged up offensive line. They had Ladd McConkey, and that's it. And it was like Herbert, and they won a lot of games.
Take us home, Herbert.
Yeah.
It was, but is he a gamer? Have we seen this person before?
We'll see.
Who you got? You got a comp in mind? Who do you got?
I have no comp in mind. I'm asking you, because we done had a couple quarterbacks in this league that has been, all right, Trevor Lawrence. All right?
He's way better than Trevor Lawrence.
No, what I'm saying is, the prince who was promised, God's gift to quarterbacks. All right? But can't get over the hump.
You know what's weird is
That's more so. I think that's more so with his team, though.
Yeah,
I don't think
was
he's on.
kinda
I don't think he's on a good team.
Trevor Lawrence.
Coming out?
Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you that.
Why?
Because I just was like, it's too robotic. There wasn't like, you know, like when you watch, like Jaden's a good example of this, Drake May, Caleb Williams is a good example of this. There was they're playing.
Yeah.
They're playing the game.
Yeah, they letting the game come to
Yeah,
them, and they figuring it out while the game
and I
happened.
felt like there was a lot of design touches for Trey Lance,
Yeah.
and there was a lot.
Trevor
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, and there was a lot of kind of like not a lot of ball arc variance.
Yeah.
So he had one throw, one club, and quarterbacks that have one club.
Yeah.
Usually, so again, I didn't think he was
One-trick
gonna.
pony, huh?
I didn't think he was gonna be like this.
Yeah.
But I never was like on
This is one thing I have always hated. I respect quarterbacks simply like Drew Brees. Drew Brees was Purdue. He didn't have no first round at wide receiver. Didn't have no first round at running back. I like guys that carry their team. Like, so when I see a quarterback from Alabama, I'll be like, oh, I don't know. I see a quarterback that had 10 first rounders on his team. I'm like, how good are you really? And that's what Trevor Lawrence had with Sammy Watkins.
I mean, that was some of the conversation with
Jay
Daniels last year, right?
Yeah, because he had those two potent wide receivers. But I also seen games break down at LSU and him just take it over.
Yeah.
And like the Alabama game comes.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they wasn't the best team. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't the best team that was out there. That's why I'd be like, I take him because it's some games that broke down and he just said, you know what, Florida, I'll take over this game myself.
Yeah. I mean, so I can't wait to watch to see if this team can pull out against a tougher schedule, win the division, which would be fantastic. We'll see if Justin Herbert's the real deal. But that's going to do it for today's show. Please make sure you like and subscribe wherever you consume this content. And if you want to see our ugly faces, check us out on YouTube. But that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much.